Hi, my name is Shankar and I believe in freedom through crypto. This video explains the difference between centralized and decentralized, which is a term that is often used in the world of crypto, and I believe that a lot of people don't really understand what it means. Especially for beginners, most of the time they stay in the centralized space of crypto, which happens to be Coinbase, Binance, all these centralized exchanges that make it easy for newcomers to do their first steps in the world of crypto. And I think that's great. But those are only abstraction layers to what true crypto is. True crypto happens on chain, which is on the computers that are distributed throughout the world that hold those blockchains where you interact. And that is what we're going to look at today. What you need to understand when you talk about crypto is to understand what do most people use it for. Number one is to store value. So just hold Bitcoin in your wallet. Number two is to send someone value. Number three is to receive value. And then number four is to trade, to transact on marketplaces. And again, all of this can be done in a centralized and in a decentralized fashion. Now, you would probably ask me, so if you can do both things on both decentralized and centralized platforms, what is the big difference then? There is a very stark difference, and that is in the centralized ecosystem, you use other platforms that have custody over your funds. You don't really own your funds. Just like when you use a bank, you don't really hold that money, they hold it for you. In a decentralized world, however, everything is based on self custody, meaning you actually have the money in your possession in the form of crypto, of course, in the world of crypto. Now, I think it's going to be a lot easier for you to understand if we draw a visual around all of that. And that's exactly what we're going to do right now. By the way, you can go to my Crypto Alliance if you found this video helpful, because my Crypto Alliance is all about providing you more information about how you can start your journey in crypto safely and convenient. So first of all, we have the world as it is, right? The real world, let's call it the real world for lack of a better term, real world. And within the real world, recently, something new has emerged that is very powerful, and that is the world of crypto. So, this is crypto. And crypto originally is on chain, right? So, there's a blockchain, and on that blockchain, we have all the information about what is going on with that specific crypto. So crypto is on chain. And usually what we do on chain is we have a decentralized way to exchange our crypto. We have, of course, a way to hold and transact with our crypto. And then we have what is called apps or dApps, where we can do fun things. So all in all, I would say we have DEXs, which a DEX is a decentralized exchange, okay? And then we have wallets. That is a big part of crypto, which is where we store our crypto. And then we have these dApps, okay, which are apps where you can do fun things. You're going to ask me, well, what can I do on these dApps and on the wallets and all the DEXs? And that is precisely what we will look at now. So on the DEXs, you can typically exchange different cryptos into others. We also often call that swapping cryptos. Okay. So for example, if you have Bitcoin and you want to get ETH, you can do that on a DEX, right? So wallets we use to hold, send, and receive crypto. dApps we use to do cool things such as lending, for example, right? Lending, or we can do staking. Staking is another word for freezing your money for some time to get yield, often also known as yield farming. But you can also do other cool things such as powering AI agents. That would also be a dApp. Or you can create music. That is also possible with dApps. So typically, by the way, you connect your wallet to the dApp to create an account. Okay, so all your wallet is always the key to connect to the DEXs, to connect to the dApps, and then to transact, of course. So hopefully that makes sense so far. So this is the original way of using crypto on chain. Again, here, on the chain, very important. Now, a few very smart people looked at all of this and said, this is all nice, but it's not very user friendly. We have to make this easier because there's such a thing as on ramping and off ramping. And we will look at in a moment here what that means. So first of all, I want you to understand that the yellow box is the true world of crypto. Now, what entrepreneurs have done is they said, we need to pack all of that into something that is easier for everyone to use. And that is what we call CEXs, okay? So those are our centralized exchanges, and that is often referred to as CEX. So some very known CEXs are Coinbase or Binance, all right? So what they do is, first of all, they hold the crypto on your behalf. It's very important to understand you don't really own your crypto, but they hold it on your behalf. But they make all of this a little bit easier because everything is in one platform. They make exchanging easier, trading, holding, sending, receiving, even lending, staking. To some degree, they integrate with these apps. So they make that a little bit easier, but at a cost. Okay, they take fees for everything because they are in business to make your navigation with crypto easier. Just like your bank makes it easier for you to store your dollar and to send it to someone. But the true idea of crypto is freedom, agency, and self-custody, which is the yellow part. Okay. So let's understand there's one important role that the CEXs have, something that we haven't really figured out yet in our industry as Kryptonians, which is what we on on-ramping. Okay. On-ramping is a way for you to bring crypto into, to bring fiat money, so your normal US dollar, into the crypto space. You need one of those centralized exchanges because they take your dollar or your euro and digitize it on their platform. So they take your fiat money and then in return they give you Bitcoin or whatever you have. Okay. They also are quite instrumental for off ramping. So if you have crypto and you want to have it in fiat again, to spend it, to have it in your bank account, to use it with Visa debit cards, they also are important for off ramping. We don't really have a way yet to decentrally do these things. So this is also an important part to understand. Now, what is most likely going to be the case for you is that you have a very natural progression, okay, from being what we call a normie, okay? A normie is someone who doesn't do anything with crypto yet, and then they become a crypto holder, often first by embracing one of the centralized exchanges. Okay, so this stage here is often part of creating a Coinbase account, for instance. Now, then as you get more advanced, here you learn, you exchange, you trade, you do all of those things. As you get more advanced, you move into the world of DeFi, decentralized finance. And that is the anti-idea of having self-custody, holding your funds yourself, not having excessive oversight. Because of course, everything that is centralized is all captured and tracked, and your name is attached to it. In the decentralized world, all you need is one of those wallets, and then you can do all of those things very often without having to reveal your identity. Now, I think that is the most important part of trying to understand what is the difference between the real world, the centralized world, and the decentralized world. Now, I'm going to try and show you something else that is very important, and that is how do we move between these different realms? Okay, so we have the real world here. Then we have the centralized world here, and we have the decentralized world here. Okay, so again, real world, for lack of a better term, is what we've been used to so far. Then centralized is the Coinbases, the Binances, and then we have decentralized, which is the true initial meaning of crypto. Okay. So, how do you go from one world into the next one? We go from real world into centralized by on-ramping. Okay, so this we call on-ramping, and it's somewhat of a repetition, but you understand. And then also the centralized exchanges help us off-ramp, which is bring our crypto back into fiat money. Okay, because here in this space, all we know is dollars or euros or whatever have you, your national currency, right? In this space, we have the crypto. So the Bitcoins of the world and the Ethereums of the world and so on and so forth. But it's centralized. Now, the question now that you may have is, how do you go from centralized to decentralized? That's actually pretty easy. You have your on-chain wallet, okay? In decentralized, everything is on-chain, and you simply send your funds from your centralized wallet, because they give you one as well, to your decentralized wallet, your on-chain wallet. Pretty easy. So that is important to know. Something else that I also want to address for you is that there are a multitude of chains. Okay, each crypto comes with a chain. So we have the Bitcoin chain, we have the Ethereum chain, and we have the Binance chain. So there's these different chains, and sometimes you need to cross to a different chain. So we call that bridging. So if you want to go from the from the Bitcoin chain and you have money that you want to bring over into ETH, you need to cross a bridge. Similar here and back. Okay. That's called bridging. And that happens in the world of decentralized finance using bridges. And I can put one or two examples of bridges into the descriptions. Now, sometimes you can bridge within your own wallet. Sometimes you use a dApp that is a bridge. Now, sometimes I'm being asked, why would you use the different bridges? Remember those dApps? Sometimes they only exist on certain bridges. Like, for example, the BNB chain has a lending feature that I use, okay, where I can upload crypto and then others borrow it. That only exists here. That's not on the Bitcoin chain, not available for me. So if I have Bitcoin and I want to use the lending feature, I need to bridge over. Now you understand this is all a little bit more hands-on. It's a little bit more complicated, if you will, but you don't have any fees. Centralized world has fees because they make these things easier. All of this is also possible here, but with a lot less barriers. There's like a more, it's easier to move your crypto and do all of those things. And you don't have to use bridges and whatnot, but everything has a fee. This is a world where you pay fees, okay? And this in the decentralized world, there's also fees, but they are much, much smaller and they're called gas. Okay. And gas fees go back into the pockets of other community members, whereas the fees in centralized exchanges typically go back into the real world because these centralized exchanges are businesses. So hopefully that has helped you understand. I would encourage you that if you want to take your first steps, don't get too worried to go into the decentralized space too fast. Get comfortable in the centralized space, make your experiences, get comfortable on ramping and off ramping. And then when you know what you're doing, you can slowly move over into the decentralized space. Again, if this was helpful to you, if it has made things clearer, make sure you like this and share it with someone. And don't forget, go to Crypto Alliance and start your journey in a way where you have support and you don't do it